What's good? What's good? What's good? It's been so long, but we back. It's season 2 of the Behind the Scenes podcast, and today we got my family with me. Tommy, he been here. We got Shael. She usually behind the cameras, and we got the engine of the whole family. My mother. But yeah. I couldn't do this podcast without talking about what we're about to talk about today. It just wouldn't feel right because it's like the gap was so long because of the situation that happened. But yeah, so we're gonna get into that. We're gonna have that conversation because it is his birthday. And yeah, so happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
So yeah, I don't even know if I'm ready for this conversation or if anybody's ready for this conversation, but I guess we gotta get ready, right? But I don't know. I know that the past few months has been a lot. I don't feel like I was ever going to be prepared for this year. So it was a lot. And it took me on a roller coaster and it took me on a setback. And but now we're here. And now I'm ready to do this for me, him, and the people around this table. So yeah, I want to start off. We can start off with like the initial first reaction and like your feelings throughout the moment, because I got the phone call, but I didn't I got the phone call, but I got the phone call from my mother. So I feel like you should explain, I guess, your feelings and like that state of mind when you first got the phone call before you called me, because then I could explain my part after you, because I don't know nothing before that.
I was asleep. Got a call with a screaming voice on the other end of saying that he was gone, and so me half asleep asking who, and that's when I was told that Jermaine, and I very shocked. Didn't think I would ever get that call. I was very shocked about it. So most where I was confused, trying to get myself together, yelling and for my dad to tell him, and then amongst telling Shael and Jaquan. Kind of hesitant on calling you to tell you because, over the phone it's not good to receive a phone call like that. But at that time, I had no choice to call to let you know, what happened.
Yeah. What I would say, my thoughts on that is, like, you don't know how strong you are, even as a mother, because it's hard to even like imagine telling somebody one of your superheroes passed away. Like one of the person who birthed you to the person that you are now, like is gone and wouldn't be here anymore. Like that's like and you being the other part of that hero and doing that journey alongside each other. That was just a lot. And like it takes strength to even do that without even being like, you know what, let me wait a few hours to process my own emotions. So that was strength. Then she told you, so your reaction.
So I heard screaming from downstairs. So I ran downstairs, and then that's when she was like, Mommy was like telling us, but like she couldn't tell us. But then she didn't have no words. She was still stock. So that's when we left. Then I don't know, just didn't believe it. I don't know, just felt like something just lift up out of my body and just jumped.
Yeah. And then I got the call. When I got the call, I woke up out of my sleep. It felt like when I first woke up out of my sleep, like to the call, it felt like I was confused at first and I didn't process it right. Because when she told me that over the phone and she called me, like waking up, getting her call, answering, like it felt like I missed a school bus or she been telling me to get up. And then she finally like, Elijah, get up. And that's the level of how I jumped up. Like if your mother ever told you or your dad ever told you to get up for school and she had to say it a third time and she had to yell it, that's how I felt jumping up. Like, and, it was crazy. I couldn't process the emotions. I was at my girlfriend's house and she lives like in 45 minutes away. So I'm walking downstairs trying to figure out where my shoes is, like, and I'm like confused. I'm like, this can't be true. I'm like, huh? Like it didn't make sense to me. So I'm confused. I'm pacing, looking for my stuff, trying to get there. And then I try to go to drive. I was trying to go get my keys to drive. And then my girlfriend was like, you know what? No, I'm gonna bring you. I'm gonna drop you off. I'm not gonna let you drive feeling like this. And at the time with me, that was the best decision. That was the best thing that she could have said because I would have probably gotten into a car accident. Like the drive there, like my heart was literally going from outside of my body to the inside of my body. And I was just crying and it was a lot. Like, and I just started thinking and I'm just like, nah, this can't be true. I'm hitting Shael up. I'm like, is it real or is it not too late? Like, can he go to the hospital this time and forth? Like, is it something that he could fight? And she like, nope, his body was cold. And then I just started instantly regretting a lot of stuff. And I'm like, listen, I don't even know if, like, I work too much. I do too much. I could have seen him more. Even though we had a great relationship, I still felt like I could have did more, or I could have been around more. Like, instantly feelings like that started coming my way. And it's just like, it was a lot. So then I finally get to where he's at, and I see a whole bunch of people, but I ain't caring about none of them people. I'm just looking, I'm like, where is he at? Downstairs. I go downstairs and I see him, and it's just like, it look real, but it don't look real. Like, it's real, but it's just like, I'm looking and I'm like, nah, like, I gotta wake up. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow from this or something. And then it's just like, when I was like, I don't know, it was a confusion roller coaster. Like, the ride just didn't go over. And yeah, but I just sat with him because I just felt like that was the least I could do, because I felt like I left him for way too long, even though I didn't. And we had great communication. It's just like, I felt like I could have did more. So I just stayed with him, and that's how I felt until we drove to you. And should we like, how do I do that? Like, should I get to our reaction or his reaction, like leading up to it? Or no, you can say how you felt about going to Tommy.
Well, I knew from that was telling y'all was hard, but to go and tell him was even harder. But I knew that we had to hurry because I knew it was getting out. I didn't want him to find out over Facebook. So I knew we had to hurry to get to him because of the crowd that was drawing. So I knew that it was everywhere. And like you said, taking that 40-minute ride was the longest ride that I could have took. And was confused, and we were all trying to figure out, how do we go and tell him, and like you said, when we got there, we just gotta tell him. No other way to do it but to tell him. So
Yeah, and then so I go, I see him, walk on the field, say what's up to him. You could say how you felt, like, from your perspective. And then when I walked up to you, and then I just instantly looked for his coach. Told his coach what happened. Told him I got to take him to the locker room. And, like, he has to go home, and I tell him that his dad passed. And then he was just like, okay. And then he was just like, that's going to be a lot for him too, because he's going through a lot. And I'm like, yeah. So we went to the locker room. I told him we was going to the locker room. And then everybody else came up. And then he was like, what's going on? What happened? Then you can continue.
Well, first thing first, to start off, that morning at like 6:30 in the morning, and I got up crying so hard for some odd reason. Like, I just don't know why. But I was crying that whole morning. Then I went to practice, for like a few. And then that's when you came out of the blue. You tapped me on my shoulder, and then you asked from my coach. So like in my mind, like I'm like, okay, he's here for some reason, but I don't know why, because he just popped up out of the blue. And then I started to look around, and then I seen Mommy, Shael, and Jaquan just standing there. And then my coach told me to, go and change and stuff. And but in my mind, I'm like, what's going on? Like, why am I changing and like about to leave practice? And then, so I seen Mommy, I seen Shael, and I seen Quan, like, and their faces was red. And then I'm like, what's going on? So like at first, and my first thought was that my cat died or my cat is gone. And then when I started to see y'all cry and stuff, that made me think like, oh, this is serious. And then when y'all, when we went in and then I started changing, and then I seen Mommy, she, started to come towards me, and then she started crying more. And then I was like, what's going on? Like, what happened? And then when she said, like, they found, like, her first few words was, they found your, and that's when I just started crying. And I broke down, started crying. I fell to the floor. Like, she didn't even say they found your dad, like, dead, because, like, from the jump, that was, what came to my mind as soon as she said those first few words. And then, like, I just felt like numb, just off rip, like, and I felt numb, I felt hurt, and like I just kept crying. I kept crying. I couldn't even walk. Like, you had to, help me walk and stuff like that. And then, like, as soon as I got in the car, my whole arms and my legs, it just went numb. I couldn't feel nothing. And my hands just went stiff. Like, I just kept crying. I kept shaking. And I couldn't breathe. So it's like, that whole ride back to, his house was like hard. And because I didn't think it was true. And, he was my, top fan with sports and school and stuff like that. Him and Mommy and stuff like that. And just to know that he was gone, and me and him didn't speak for like 2 months. And, that hurt. And because I've thought of, trying to go see him and trying to, talk to him and call him. But, that was me being stubborn. And I told myself, like, no, I just don't speak to him again. And, that was something that I, regret, because, we could have went and spoke to each other, because the phone, did go 2 ways. But, that's just something that I, held so much on me. It's because I could have, changed the, thought of us talking again and stuff like that. And when I first got to the house, and then I seen everybody standing outside and stuff like that, like, that just made everything seem like worse. And then, and then everybody started to, come up and try to speak to me and trying to say this and that. But my mind was just like, and this is not real. Like, no way that my dad is gone. Like, and then, and I finally got the strength to go down there and see him. And it was like, wow, like, he looked peaceful. He looked like he was sleeping. And, you know, that showed me that, you know, he didn't struggle. And, you know, he's not, you know, stressed out anymore. He's not in pain anymore. But, you know, that took like a lot out of me. And to this day, like, it still hurts. And I could see it like playing in my head all the time. And I keep thinking about it. And, you know, it still hurts to this day.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I feel like, so that was the reactions. That's how we found out. I feel like everything else after that, leading from that to the funeral, it was kind of like, for me, it was a lot. Like, so I feel like it was a lot from after that day to the funeral. Like, the only thing that I wished in that time was, one, of course, he was here, but I know he couldn't be. And two, I wish that, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I wish that him and my mother were still married to each other, because I feel like after everyone knew he was gone on his side of the family, I felt like it just got real chaotic and real selfish. And I feel like we had to do a lot of fighting and extra tugging, unnecessary back and forth, just to get him to go down the way he should have. So that's the only thing from that point of view that was in my head, for real, was I wish he was still here. And then when it was all smiles, it just made me think about him. I'm like, I don't even want to be over here smiling with nobody, because it's like, okay, this is something that he would have wanted and he would have been happy if he was here. And it also just seemed a little fake. And I just didn't want to be a part of it, because it's just like, it was just too much. And then I'll just say, when the funeral came, it was kind of hard for me to even talk and say what I said and speak at his funeral. But I just feel like everything after that I did also feel like I needed to do for him. Like, I feel like he died alone that night, technically, but mentally, his pictures, he died. His pictures was in the pocket, right?
Yeah.
And it was a lot. So, yeah, that's just how I felt throughout the time after that from the funeral. Well, these was in his pocket. I don't want to put the camera off of it, so I'll just take pictures of these and I'll post it when it's time to score. But yeah, you could say how you felt through that process, and I know you went through a lot with that process, and yeah.
Well, due to the fact that I'm in school and that I went back to school that same day and that I found out, and, you know, the reason why I went back is because like I try to take my mind off it, and like I try to think that this is not real, or this can't be. And from the time that he passed and planning the funeral, like that was hard, because with me staying at school and with y'all here, that's when y'all tell me things, and which makes me stop the stuff that I'm doing at school to come home and to deal with all the stressfulness that went on planning the funeral. So there was something that said just go home, stay home, plan it all out, and then go back to school when you feel the need to. And due to the fact that I'm the baby boy, some people didn't think and that I would be that spokesman. And, they thought that, since I was the, child and stuff like that, and that I wasn't, gonna speak up. But I did, because, they tried to, send him out the way he didn't need to be sent out. And due to the fact that I was his favorite child, and that, we had that stronger bond because of sports and stuff and like that. So I thought that I, had the most say. And, that was stressful, because I was already, going through like a lot before he passed away. So that stressfulness trying to plan the funeral, that just and made everything so like hard on me. And that brought me out of my character, and that showed me who I was, and who I can be. And when the funeral came, that was the hardest day of my life. Like, just to speak at his funeral twice, and to carry his casket and stuff like that. Like, that was hard, but I got through it. And like, I was strong enough to like stand up there and speak and, say how I feel about everything.
Or, Shael, from after that day to the funeral, to the funeral day, what was your mindset? What was your feelings? What was everything?
Well, I just started like college, like 2 days or a day after it happened. So I was trying, my mindset was like crazy, but I had to move in late. Then again, I wanted to be by my mother's side and make sure that she was good. Like every day, me and my mom would like go over there and make sure that everything was going the way that we wanted to go. With the funeral, even though like I was getting mad to sometimes, because like I said, they really try to put him out bad. To the point that I had to say, no, that's not the color. His favorite color is blue. So at first, nobody listened. that's when I got mad, and I had to like not yell, but I had to like make sure they heard me. Then they said okay. But lead up to the funeral, it was like really like hard. To the point I couldn't go up and speak, even though I wanted to. But just saying bye last time was the hardest. I don't even think I could like, I don't know.
You want to go? I feel you. I don't know why I didn't think to buy some tissues. If I don't know if you could say this, or if you want to wait to say this, you ain't got to answer now. But since you felt like you couldn't speak, if you want to speak to him right now on his birthday, you can. If you got anything you want to say to him, you can say it right here. Because this episode is just to show people that they are not alone, and I'm sure we are not alone. So it's just like, it's like you think you're going through so much, but and you think like you're on this world alone, like to the point where like I can say with me, and it leads up to my next questions and stuff. It's just like how did I grieve? I'm still grieving. We all still grieving, but how have we been grieving? Honestly, I had to pray to God every day and ask for forgiveness, because I questioned him every day. Like, it still don't make sense to me. Like, I'm doing so good right now, but, and like, for the people who don't know, sure, I'm going to school now for like, my CDLs and stuff, and they were just saying how, oh, you can make X amount of money and you could bring your family on what's it called. And I'm like, if I was doing this then, it would have been fun bringing him on trips and this time and forth. And like, I can't help but to think in every decision of my life how he would have reacted now. So sometimes I talk to God through him, and hopefully he sent him a message in situations like that. But yeah, it's been a lot. Are you ready to speak? Can you speak right now?
It's different when you can't grieve, because you have to stay strong for your kids. And so my thing is that I had to be y'all spokesperson. This is one time in my life where I said, I'm not letting my kids down. Whatever y'all commands was, whatever y'all demands was, that's what I was setting forth. There was a few times I had to call the lawyer to get guidance. What do we do? How do we do this? And it's sad that family have to do that when it comes to things like that. That you can be divided enough to disrespect kids. And that was my thing. I had to keep a calm head because everybody know how I am about my kids. And the more it was pushed, the more I had to think and pray. It was difficult. The most difficult funeral I had to plan. And I planned funerals before. 4 years ago, helped with my grandmother's funeral. But when people that don't know God show their evilness, the only thing that you can do is go to God. And that's what I did. I went to God for my kids. And I told him, you do this. You do this. So from that day forth into, it was a lot of prayer. A lot of staying strong for you guys. A lot of keeping a level head for you guys. A lot of couldn't fight for you guys the way I really wanted to fight because I know that it would have been even worse situation. So it was hard. It was hard. The day of the funeral was difficult, but I was glad it was there.
Yeah.
That's sad. But it was difficult, but I was glad that day was there. And that he can finally rest and we can finally move on from the negative. Not from him, from the negative aspect of everything.
Yeah. Any of y'all want to talk about your grieving process before I go on to the next thing I was going to say?
I just been in school. Well, at first, I lost the hope of my dream, what I wanted. And I was like, oh, it's done. I don't want to do it no more. But then I was praying to God. And then I felt something. I had a dream. And it was Grandma and Daddy, all of us at like big table. We all eating. And they was like, what's this? Something new. They was like, when you open your restaurant, we're going to be the first one in line, waiting for you to cut the ribbon open. So then I woke up and I was like, I can't stop. I got to do it for them. So other than that, that's where my mindset was. And yeah.
Yeah. I also kind of had like a little dream, but I'm gonna say that for later, just because, one, for time purposes, and two, because I'm gonna express that dream in another way. But you could.
And the way and that I was grieving, well, at first I didn't know how to grieve because, from when her great grandma died.
I don't know.
From when her great grandma died, you know. So I've then, you know, get over that or heal from that time. So like I didn't know what to do or how to grieve.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I just kept crying. I kept crying and crying. I just didn't know what to do. And there was thoughts of, you know, just stopping everything, not playing sports anymore, you know, not going to school anymore, and just stop. But, you know, like as time went on, like, and I pray to God every day, and I ask for strength to keep going and, you know, to keep me on the right path and keep me on the path that my dad will want me to stay on. And I know that, you know, he would tell me, like, stay in the game, stay in the books, and that's all and that, you know, needs to be done right now. And that he's good. He's, you know, with God, with a great grandmother, and like, you know, that's what I kept trying to tell in my mind. And, you know, since then, and my life has been, you know, down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
And, you know, since I was away and, you know, not staying, you know, in that home and stuff, that's been real harder on me, is because I didn't see y'all or like speak to y'all. So that made me feel like I was alone, and that hurt worse. And you know, that was like my key to like just stay in my room and don't speak to anybody. And, you know, from since then to now, like I'm doing real good, and I went to go get help. I got therapy, like, you know, that helps me like a lot to actually, you know, speak on the things that I'm going through, and to actually, you know and that I'm not alone, and that I have y'all, and I got, you know, friends, and I got my teammates, you know, that will and be there for me, and that, you know, come to my room and talk. And till this day, you know, they still come to my room and speak to me like about things that I'm going through now.
Yeah. That's dope. We had a conversation a couple of days ago, and you was telling me a story about basically how he was, and how basically you guys together, and how it built him up to the point where when y'all first, you was telling me when y'all first got a house, and he actually owned something, you said he was cheesing the whole time. Can you explain that story? Because I don't know if they heard that story, or any other stories that you have of him that we might not know.
Well, he had a hard life growing up, and there was things that he didn't know, and things that I had to teach him to know that there's more than the streets. There's more to it. You don't have to be in the street to be someone. You can be someone positive. when he learned that, and I started showing him, me and our family started showing him that there's a different world, he started loving the world. So I said to him, we were trying to get our own place. So I said to him, I said, you know, we're married now. We have the kids. Let's stop renting and let's own our own. How are we going to do that? Let's do it. The day of the signing, we was going around looking, getting this, that, and the fourth. He was still not believing. But the day of the signing, and they told him that he had to sign those papers first. And he looked at me and he had a big old smile around that table. Big old smile. And he finally, like he said, I finally owned something. You know, and that was a big day for him to sign paperwork to a house that he owned.
Yeah.
You know, it was a big day. You know, he loved us. He loved family. He loved being the man that he became.
Yeah.
He loved it. He loved being a father. He loved being a husband. He loved providing. That was a big factor to him when he learned how to do that the real way.
Yeah.
It was a big thing to him.
Yeah, one of my stories that I love. First, I want to say one of my conversations that I had with him last Father's Day, because he's my stepfather, and before when I used to say that because he was here all my life, so it's just like I didn't look at him like that, but it's just like being able to say he was my stepfather with the way that he treated me, it feels so good because it's just like, it just showed how much he loved me for me, because it's just like, he was my stepfather, but he treated me like no other. Like, he didn't have nothing but love.
And there when you was born.
There when I was born, and there through every situation after that for me. Regardless, he was always there, and I was talking to him, and we was there. It's a couple of stories that I have. I don't know, what was you on the bus that time he got that check, and we went to the mall?
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, y'all get whatever y'all want.
I was there.
It was a couple of times. Like, he was like, oh, your coat got a rip on it? Yeah, we're gonna get you a new coat. Like, he was a lover, he was a provider, he was a family man, he was everything. And then it was another time that I remember from him where he like, we was on 24 Willis Street where we used to live, and we was all playing wrestling. I don't know if you was also playing, but I know me and Jaquan, and we would play fight, and then he would be the referee, and he would be like, he grabbed me and he was like, and the WWE championship goes to Elijah. And then when Jaquan won, he said the WWE championship goes to, I know the heavyweight championship goes to Jaquan. And then I think this was around Christmas, because when Christmas came, he got us the WWE championship belts and the heavyweight championship belts. And he was just like, see, I was trying to hint to y'all when y'all was fighting that y'all was getting these for Christmas.
Okay.
And yeah, that was the experience. Y'all got any memories? I'll let you go, and then you can
go. Well, there was so much and so many things that he did. it came from. I can't like pick one because there was a lot, but just like from a sports standpoint, he was the loudest in the stadium. Like he was the loudest. Like from me standing on the field to him just standing on the bleachers screaming, a water boy, Thai maniac, like, you know, that it gave me fuel. And, you know, he taught me so much things from just screaming and just, you know, from me playing on the field and from to me now, he has taught me like a lot of things. And like he came to my track meet and he was loud, like he was the like and the guy like just screaming and my name and stuff like that, you know. And while I was, you know, in the race, I still heard him. And, you know, that made me feel good about myself. And that race, like, he helped me come back because me and the team was down. And, you know, by him screaming that, you know, it gave me the thought, all right, Tamin, let's go and it come back and win this race. And that's exactly what I did, you know. And that, you know, that I could say was, you know, a top 5 best like thing that, you know, me and him had.
Yeah.
I think when I was little, I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. I was confused. I'm like, huh? And then I was just jumping around everywhere, around the house, getting on everybody's nerves. And then he was like, ooh, you need to go do something. You need to go cheer for your brother. Go do something. So then I remember one time, I think I was in the stands with them, and then I think it was me and Mommy, and I think Shauna, I think we was just making up chair things. So we was just yelling out, and then I was just cheering. But then again, next year, I tried out for the cheerleader. Then that's when I started cheerleading for Tommy, and then he was like cheering because I would be on the sideline. Then he be calling my name, calling Tommy name, just going back and forth. And then that was one, and the other one was like when I first made my when I first started getting into baking. We brought him a piece of cake, and then he was like, "What's this?" I was like, "Just try it. So tell me what you think about it." He was like, "All right, man." Then he tried it. The first bite. Then he looked at Mommy. He said, maybe you want to slap my mama. I was like, is that good? He was like, yeah, who are you getting this talent from? I can't cook. I was like, well, you can't cook. Mommy can cook. Then we all know who. But, yeah.
Then the last question for you is, do you have any, like, right now, do you have any advice that you would give someone that was in your situation or that is in your situation and they don't know what to do or they don't know how to act or anything?
One thing that I always knew, and the only thing that I can say is, well, a couple things, but think of your kids first before you react to a situation. But also put God first. Without him, we couldn't have did none of the things that we sitting here talking about. And you keep each other encouraged, because it takes a village. And sometimes we don't look at that. And that's why I say to each of you, did you talk to your brother? Did you talk to your sister? Did you talk to your brother? Did you talk to your sister? Because at the end of the day, you don't understand how much we need each other. We are each other's lifeline. So when one of us fall, we all fall. And that's how it should be all the time. And just being encouraging each and every one of us and keeping that person prayed up, each and every one of us prayed up at all times. It's hard, it's difficult. And remember the good. Remember the good. The good always outweighs the bad in any situation. Remember the good. And that person that you may have lost at that time or you're grieving over, the good things will keep you smiling and keep you moving. Don't get stuck in I could have, should have, would have, because it's too late for that. Now it's I need to do this. I need to do that. So just biggest thing that you can do is stick together and encourage each other. Because every link in a chain, it may be a knit where you lose a piece, but as long as you stand firm and y'all stand together, we stand together, it still makes the chain strong. It may be broken, it may be fractured, but by us holding each other together, we still have a strong link, a strong chain. Togetherness is the main key in God. It's the main key.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well, we're gonna end it on that. Yeah, we gonna end it on that. Maybe next year we'll make it a thing again. We'll figure that out soon. Because there's way more stuff that it's like it's so hard to fit into one episode. So yeah. So appreciate y'all for tapping in. Anybody, you guys can shout out y'all businesses, y'all name, y'all platforms, and everything before we head out. Everybody know me, GF Dimes, GF.Dimes everywhere. GF Media, GF Global. I got this subscription that I'm doing. You could tap in on my Instagram and see what that's about, but it'll help you get your content up and stay consistent. And it's for a cheap price where it might go up, it might not. Just get it while it's hot. Shayo.
My business page is Homemade Treats. That's where you could hit me up for food, desserts, catering, anything.
Yeah.
But y'all should already know who I am. But and my last thing is, and that I want to say that, Dad, and I love you so much, and I appreciate every single thing that you have done for me and my family. And I'm gonna keep going, keep playing football because of you, and because I want to make you proud, and I want to make my family proud.
He's free. It may be hard on us, but he's free. And I can say, he's free. Praise the Lord, he's free. No longer bound. He has no chains holding him. His soul is resting. It's just a blessing. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. He's free. Always love you, Monroe.
Amen. I love you, Dad. Happy birthday.
Love you, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Twin.
You can follow her. You want to tell her where to follow you?
I don't need to.
She got a clothing brand coming out next year. Tap in. I'm going to tag her in the bio. Appreciate y'all for listening to our story. If we helped anyone, just know that you are not alone. And next time she sing, y'all can't get it for free, okay? But, all right. Love y'all. We out.